Here's what's on your feed today. President Bongbong Marcos calls Congress to a special session on June 17 to fast-track social protection bills amid calamities. Ateneo basketball coach Tab Baldwin and the team manager Epo Quimpo resign amid the probe into the deaths of two student athletes. The death toll from the magnitude 7.8 earthquake in Mindanao climbs to 65 as search teams continue looking for 36 missing persons. The United States and Iran confirmed that they have reached a preliminary agreement to end their war and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. And in Brazil, a 21-year-old woman dies after a rope jumping activity that authorities are now investigating for possible negligence. Good afternoon, I'm Denise Tan. Ateneo men's basketball head coach Tab Baldwin and team manager Epo Quimpo have resigned a week after the drowning of the two student athletes, Divine Adili and Rene Baterbonia in Aurora. And for the details, let's talk to mobile journalist Arles De Los Santos, who's joining us live from Quezon City. Arles, ano nga ba yung sinabi ng Ateneo dito sa resignation ni Baldwin at ni Quimpo? At may natukay ba silang lapses o kumbaga mga pagkukulang that led to this incident?
Denise, isang linggo nga mula nang mangyari yung drowning incident doon sa dalawang student athlete ng Ateneo de Manila University na sina Rene Baterbonia at Divine Adili ay nagsagawa nga ng press conference kanina si Ateneo de Manila President Robert Bobby Yap kasama ang mga legal counsel at ang alumni director nito, kung saan sinabi nga nila na kumpirmado na nag-resign na sa kanyang posisyon si Baldwin at si Quimpo na manager ng men's basketball team ng Ateneo. Limitado yung naging impormasyon patungkol dito sa pagbibitiw sa kanya sa posisyon ni Baldwin, pero immediately effective at agad daw nila itong tinanggap at kabukod dyan syempre magsasagawa nga raw ang kanilang kampo ng independent fact-finding body na kung saan merong mga legal experts at na natitingin at sisilip mismo rito. Hindi pa nabigay, Denise, kung ano nga yung mga posibleng mga sanction na maibigay sa mga ito at ayon pa kay Father Robert Yap, kung ano man yung naging dahilan ni Baldwin at ano yung kanyang mga susunod na hakbang, mas mabuti daw na si Baldwin na mismo ang tarungin nito.
But okay, Arles, now that the resignations are confirmed, is there actually any way for Ateneo to compel both Baldwin and Quimpo to join or participate in those investigations?
Well, at least para doon sa bahagi ng Ateneo, Denise, ay yung kanilang independent fact-finding body naman ay magsasagawa ng investigasyon sa loob ng 2 linggo. At kung ano man daw yung magiging resulta nito ay tatanggapin at haharapin ng Ateneo de Manila University at kung may mga kamalian ay kanilang namang itatama. Patungkol naman kanila Baldwin at Quimpo na wala na o resigned na mula sa Ateneo de Manila University, hindi natin masasabi na ligtas na sila doon sa mga posibleng harapin nilang kaso o reklamo dahil meron pa rin isinasagawa investigasyon ang CIDG, may mga pinapasapi na pa rin at kabukod dyan yung NBI ay tuloy-tuloy din yung pagsilip dito. Denise.
Arles, alam natin last week, lumabas na yung videos. It has resurfaced. Former Ateneo players talking about this quote-unquote boot camp, calling it deadly. May reaction ba dyan ng Ateneo? Pati na rin dun sa mga videos na lumabas over the weekend, dun sa estranged wife and daughter ni Tab Baldwin.
Actually, Denise, merong bahagi doon ng pahayag si Father Bobby Ayap kung saan sinabi niya na aware sila doon sa mga nila impormasyon na kumakalat online. Meron nga ditong bahagi na sinasabi na mga maling impormasyon daw ito o malayo nga doon sa katotohanan. Kasi at least patungkol doon sa mga institutional intimidation daw or risk or safety risks na pinabot nga daw or napag-uusapan, ayon daw sa kanilang initial review ay wala raw ganitong mga ulat. At ito daw yung kanilang team building activity na sinasagawa ng men's basketball teams ng Ateneo doon sa Aurora ay actually 5th year na nilang ginagawa, naantala lamang nung nangyari nga yung COVID lockdown. Pero kabukod naman kung ano nga yung mga na-report, meron ba kung ano pang mga pwedeng silipin, ipapaubayan na daw nila yan doon sa independent fact-finding body na yun nga, within 2 weeks ay inaasahang lalabas yung resulta nito. Pero gate niya, hindi daw nila mamadaliin kung ano man nga yung magiging aksyon at hakbang at galaw nito.
Arles, to clarify, Ateneo is well aware na nagtitraining ang kanilang basketball team in open water, sa dagat.
Yes, Denise. At ito na nga raw yung 5th year na kanilang ginagawa na tigil lamang noong pandemic. And actually, YAP called it a tradition for them.
Okay, but what are the safeguards in place though? And are they planning to put any safeguards in the future to ensure that the lives of these student athletes are not put in any risk? Dahil kung maaalala natin, Arles, I'm sure you've seen the video also, na may lumabas na tinanong yung isang former player kung may nalunod na daw ba, at ang sagot niya ay muntik na. Kumbaga, there has been a situation in the past where an athlete or a student athlete's life was at risk.
Para sa kanila kasi, Denise, kailangan na gumalaw muna at mag-imbestiga yung fact-finding body bago nga tumugon dyan. Sinubukan natin tanungin yan na may mga video na nakumalat, may mga testimony na sa mga interview, yung mga former players, pero naging limitado nga yung kanilang tugon dyan. And yung fact-finding na daw talaga yung sasagot dito. Pero at least para doon, Denise, sa dalawang student-athlete na nasawi, tuloy-tuloy naman yung pakikipag-ugnayan at pakikipagtulungan ng ating de Manila University sa mga pamilya nito. Kagaya na lamang for the case of Paterbonia, sasagutin nga nila yung funeral expenses nito, at kahit matapos nga yung paglibing dito, bibigay tulong pa rin sila doon sa pamilya ni Paterbonia, and doon naman kay Divine Adili, sagot ng paaralan yung flight ng pamilya nito papunta dito sa Pilipinas at papalik ng Nigeria para nga doon sa nakatakda or plano na pagdala sa katawan nito doon sa kanyang pinagmulan, which is yung bansang Nigeria. Denise.
Okay, at this point, meron din ba silang planong counseling or psychological services, psychological system service siguro, para sa, hindi na sa para mga teammates ni Adili at Baterbonia, but as well as the whole community affected by this loss?
Yes, tuloy-tuloy naman daw, Denise. Hindi lang nila ibinigay in detail kung ano-ano nga yung kanilang nagiging aksyon, but at least on their part being responsible is syempre yung pakikipag-ugnayan talaga dito. And wala naman daw pinigilan na magsalita patungkol dito. Kaya may ilang mga statement din na kanilang binigyang linaw. Pero limitado at in a way confirmed, nakapalibot lamang or ipon doon sa mga maaari pa lamang nilang banggitin. Binigyan din actually, Denise, ng paglilinaw na yung hindi nila pagsasalita kaagad-agad or yung limitado impormasyon na kanilang inilalabas. Ayon sa Ateneo de Manila University ay meron daw investigasyon na isinasagawa kung saan kasama sa mga iniimbestigahan ay yung mga personalities involved in this accident. And hindi lamang yung mga psychosocial support and actions yung kanilang gagawin, kundi yung iba pang pagsilip nga na pwede mapaayos at mapanagot, yung dapat mapanagot, at kung ano man lalabas doon sa investigation. At ayan, ang kailangan nating abangan sa mga paparting pang mga araw at kung haharap nga ba yung mga pinahaharap ng ating mga otoridad.
Last na, Arles, mabilis lang. May tugon ba sila doon sa sinabi nung nanay ni Rene na kung bakit daw hindi agad-agad siya na-inform at hindi agad nakipag-ugnayan sa kanya about what happened to her son?
Well, ayon sa Ateneo de Manila University, Denise, ay the very same night after the accident, ay actually tragic accident, the way Ateneo de Manila University calls it, and all the information and facts of the case ay yun ang tawag ng tragic accident, ay nakipag-ugnayan daw agad sila sa pamilya ni Rene. If we remember it correctly, Denise, ang sabi ng magulang ni Rene ay tila kulang yung nagiging pag-reach out sa kanila at yung mga impormasyon na kanilang nakuha. Pero according to Father Yap, nakipag-ugnayan sila agad on the night it happened, and nag-offer na agad sila ng help para makalipad papunta rito sa Maynila. At kahit nga pagdating dito sa Maynila, humarap agad si Father Robert, and kahit doon sa Arlington, sa funeral, first day ng burol ni Paterbonia ay humarap din ito, though hindi na dinisclose kung ano man yung kanilang napag-usapan. So, in a way, Denise, nakikita natin to ayon sa nanay ni Paterbonia, kulang yung naging tugon sa kanila or yung pagre-reach out, pero sa Ateneo naman ay they did their part right away, being responsible for whatever happened to their son. And actually, meron ngang nabanggit din dito kanina na emotional na sinabi si Father Bobby, na sinabi dito na 2 men entrusted to their care did not come home. Kaya ang kanilang hinihiling ngayon ay ang panalangin at kapatawaran. Denise.
All right, thank you very much for that report, mobile journalist Arles de los Santos. Now, PhilHealth clarifies that some patients who die in less than 24 hours of confinement may still be covered by benefits. PhilHealth President and CEO Dr. Edwin Mercado told One Balita Pilipinas that coverage will depend on the case, medical procedures done, and available patient data. Mercado said there are existing benefit packages for patients who do not reach 24 hours in the hospital, especially in cases involving high-risk conditions. This comes after the family of a deceased PhilHealth member questioned why he was initially denied benefits despite decades of contributions. PhilHealth has reached out to the member's widow, who posted about the case online and assured that the amount will be reimbursed as soon as possible.
Kami po ay taus-pusong nakikiramay dito po sa ating pumanaw na member. Meron na talagang existing na mga benefit doon sa ating mga pasyente na sa kasamang palad ay hindi umabot ng 24 hours at nagkaroon nga ng tinatawag nating mortality.
Now, the death toll from the magnitude 7.8 earthquake in Mindanao has risen to 65. The Office of Civil Defense said most of the fatalities were caused by landslides and falling debris in Davao Occidental, Sarangani, and General Santos City. At least 1,400 people were injured while 36 others remain missing. More than 176,000 families or over 738,000 individuals have been affected by the earthquake. At least 37 evacuation centers are still serving displaced residents. Damage to public and private infrastructure has reached 1.13 billion pesos. And President Bongbong Marcos visited Glan, Sarangani on Monday to assess the aftermath of the magnitude 7.8 earthquake. The president visited an evacuation center where he met affected residents and observed the distribution of relief assistance from government agencies. Over 400 beneficiaries received food packs, hot meals, 5,000 peso cash assistance under AIC's program. The government also turned over 20 million pesos in aid to the local government, along with a Starlink unit to boost communications in recovery operations. Marcos earlier visited quake-hit General Santos City to inspect damaged infrastructure and ongoing response efforts. In world news, the United States and Iran have reached a preliminary agreement aimed at ending their war. The deal includes a halt to military operations, the end of the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports, and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. The Memorandum of Understanding is set to be signed on Friday in Switzerland. U.S. President Donald Trump said the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for global oil and gas shipments, will also reopen on Friday. According to Iranian officials, a broader agreement will be negotiated during a 60-day ceasefire period, including possible sanction relief. The announcement sent oil prices lower, with Brent crude and U.S. West Texas Intermediate both falling for more than 4% in early trading. More stories when One Newsfeed returns. Stay tuned. You're still watching One Newsfeed. Welcome back. President Bongbong has called for a special session in Congress on Wednesday, June 17. Under Proclamation Number 1318, lawmakers are directed to prioritize bills that have already reached advanced stages in the legislative process. The president said urgent action is needed to support earthquake-affected families, students, seniors, and other vulnerable sectors. Priority measures include proposals on elderly health care, scholarships, anti-political dynasty and education, and emergency assistance programs. The session will also allow the Commission on Appointments to act on pending executive, military, and foreign service nominations. Earlier, Malacanang said the president was inclined to call a special session depending on a formal request from Senate leadership amid tensions in the chamber. Congress is currently on sine die adjournment and is supposed to resume session on July 27. Now, Senator Joel Villanueva, a member of the Cayetano Bloc, says he will attend the special session. His presence raises questions on whether he could deliver the crucial 13th vote for the majority bloc. Let's bring in mobile journalist Merimon Reyes. Merimon, ano ba yung significance nitong attendance ni Senator Villanueva and what could this mean for the Senate leadership?
Denise, good afternoon. It's either one of two things kasi. Ang sinasabi ni Senator Joel Villanueva, time out na raw muna sa bangayan sa politika. Ang importante raw sa ngayon ay yung pagtugon sa question ng mga tao kung nagagampanan pa ba ng Senado yung kanilang tungkulin, yung kanilang mandato ayon sa saligang batas, lalong-lalo na sa mga usapin na kinakailangan ng agarang pagkilos o pag-aksyon mula sa pamahalaan. Sa side naman ng Congress, yung mga panukalang batas sa kailangan na rin ng agarang pagkilos. So, wala kasing sinabi si Senator Joel na magkakaroon na ng paglilipat bakod papunta sa bloc or sa majority ni Senator Sherwin Gatchalian na tumatayo ngayon bilang Senate President pro tempore. Pero ang sinasabi niya, pupunta raw siya, pero as according to Senator Erwin Tulfo, well, there's this commitment from Senator Joel na mag-a-attend siya sa special session ngayong Wednesday. Walang commitment pa whatsoever na mag-o-over the bakod na si Senator Joel. Denise.
Okay, pero Merimon, may reaksyon na ba dito si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano? Kasi tama ba itong nadidinig ko na parang nag-usap pa sila prior the announcement na mag-a-attend itong si Senator Villanueva?
Denise, sa isang Facebook live stream ni Senator Cayetano nitong weekend nung Friday, sinabi na nag-heart-to-heart talk sila ni Senator Joel pero hindi siya nagbanggit ng sobrang detalye tungkol doon. Pero ang nasabi niya, napag-usapan daw nila yung mga akusasyon na binabato nga dito sa Senador. And over the weekend kasi o kaya sa mga lumilipas na araw, umuugong kasi yung kuro-kuro na si Senator Joel Villanueva ang maaaring makakumpleto na o maging bahagi nung at least 13 senators na kinakailangan ng majority para maging solid na talaga ang mayorya at para masemento na si Gatchalian bilang Senate President. Pero yun nga, so far, ang nasabi ni Senator Erwin Tulfo, walang commitment so far sa side ni Senator Joel, pero may nakausap daw ang panig ni Senator Tulfo na isang babae o isang lalaki na maaari magbigay daan na nga sa pagbuo nitong decisive na majority. Denise.
Okay, last na lang, Merimon, may posibilidad ba na magpatawag ulit ng isa pang special session if these issues, yung mga kailangan ni-tackle, unresolved pa rin after the scheduled session on Wednesday?
Maaari, Denise, kasi ayon sa 1987 Constitution, may kapangyarihan ang Pangulo na magpatawag ng special session. And so far kasi yung nakalagay doon sa proclamation, ngayong June 17 lang, Wednesday lang. Pero maaari pa rin namang magpatawag at lalo na kung kunwari magre-request pa ang mga kongresista, ang mga senador o kaya naman ang mga mula sa Kamara ng dagdag na oras pa at panahon para matugunan o mabigyan ng oras itong panukalang batas. Plus yung iba pang commitments na kailangan nilang pagtuunan ng oras at atensyon. Pero so far, ang sabi ng majority ngayon, ready raw sila, papasok sila, at sabi pa ni Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, ready na daw to act on special session agenda ang Senado. May commitment sila dito at ang sinasabi pa, papasok din sila, magtatrabaho sila ng walang drama. Denise.
All right, thank you for that update. Again, that was our mobile journalist, Merimon Reyes. Now, Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. says the personal sanctions imposed by China will not alter his approach to dealing with Beijing. Beijing earlier barred Teodoro and his family from entering China or engaging in business dealings with Chinese entities. But in an interview on One News's Money Talks, the defense chief said the move would not affect his assessment of the risk and challenges in dealing with Beijing. He suggested that Beijing's decision may be linked to the government efforts to crack down on alleged malign influence operations in the country.
We have been very busy in disrupting malign influence outlets and fake Filipino businesses and substandard producers of steel, which is also a suspected smuggling hub. And it so happens that Chinese nationals are front and center in these activities, no? Together with complicit Filipinos.
One Newsfeed will be back after this short break. you're still watching One Newsfeed, welcome back. The New York Knicks championship celebrations turned chaotic overnight as violence, fires, and vandalism broke out across parts of Manhattan. Authorities said several school buses were set on fire or damaged as thousands of fans flooded the streets following the Knicks' title-clinching victory. The buses were being used to transport fans to and from World Cup matches at MetLife Stadium. Police also reported a shooting that left a 17-year-old boy wounded, along with several stabbing incidents during the celebrations. The NYPD said 63 people were arrested on charges including assault, weapons possession, criminal mischief, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. At least 10 police officers were also reported injured during the overnight unrest. And before we go, a 21-year-old woman in Brazil has died after plunging from a bridge during a rope jumping activity that authorities are investigating as a possible case of negligence. Maria Eduarda Rodriguez de Freitas fell about 40 meters from an abandoned bridge in Sao Paulo State after she was allegedly launched without being properly attached to her safety rope. Video of the incident showed the young woman being thrown from the bridge in a Superman position before plunging into the abyss. Authorities say several people associated with the activity have been detained as investigators look into possible criminal liability. The bridge, a popular spot for extreme sports enthusiasts, operates without official regulation. The incident has also sparked widespread outrage online, with many calling for greater safety oversight of adventure sports activities.
Gente! Gente, acorda, velho! Ai, meu Deus do céu!
And that wraps up One Newsfeed, the only feed you need. I'm Denise Tan. Good evening.